Presenting about the effect of a male guardianship culture heritage on Saudi women mental health. I wanted to define the term guardianship system before I start the presentation. The male guardianship system basically is when every woman in Saudi Arabia, despite their age, they are assigned to have, there is a male guardianship, there is a male guardian who can control their life. And the Saudi women are restricted by the male dominant culture and face obstacles that hold them accountable to their male guardians. These beliefs have been codified into a law. For decades, women were asked to provide a written approval from their male guardians to work and to continue higher education, to travel, and even sometimes to be hospitalized. By 2019, women's status changed dramatically in terms of the law. Women were granted the right to obtain ID card and to obtain driver license, live independently outside of the family house, continue their education, and apply for jobs without their guardian permission. The policy changes have somewhat reduced male authority over women, but Saudi women are still suppressed in many of their freedoms by custom and belief and social convention. Many families still adhere to the older, rigid system of male guardianship control over women. And just to mention that Saudi community is a conservative Islamic culture that apply these rules to women's life. I want to present some attitude toward women being abused in Saudi Arabia. There is a research done by Al-Dosari in 2014. Her find that women's attitude toward spousal violence is if husband beat his wife in case of infidelity, 51% agree on this. And this is women's opinion. And if he has a doubt, 15% agree that husband can beat their wife. And just 14% of women disagree. And there is another study studied the attitude of violence from women and men. 70% of men, they see violence is appropriate way to deal with women. And 38% agree on this statement. So here, Gramsci explained the power of cultural heritage as reforms must go against not only political and religious ideologies, but also strong cultural traditions that form the barriers. And as Gramsci emphasized, a society is not just ruled by governmental authorities, but also imposes a way of life due to the belief and the ideology. So in order, as a Muslim community, most of these rules come from the religious text that apply these rules and shaped the people believe about these rules. So in order to change the ideas, we need to deconstruct the text and reinterpret the text that help to shape these ideas in the society. And there is actually a gap in a Muslim literature in general about studying guardianship system and its impact on women. And most of the literature existed usually talk about the important or responsibility toward women, the men's responsibility toward women to keep them safe and protected, and the necessity of women to obey and to obey their husbands, and the nature of the women rule in the public. And the lack of a study that examine the effect of the male guardianship system in Islamic world in general, let alone in Saudi Arabia. And this research conceptualized the term guardianship system from Saudi women perspective and its impact on their well-being. And this study interviewed 16 women from Saudi Arabia and asked them about the impact of this system in their life, and how is the law change help to change the status. Saudi women report that mental health treatment is seeking mental health treatment facing so many obstacles. First, the mobility restrictions for women by usually being required to get permission to leave the house, and the mobility restriction by the need of someone to drive them to the clinic. And this is hard and challenging for women who have a guardian that they are not believe in a mental health treatment, or they don't see it's a necessary thing, and they don't have time for that. And sometimes the transportation or the mobility restriction for women causes isolation and loneliness and lack of joining a social event and outdoor activities by being restricted by their male guardian to get permission to do these things. And some Saudi women attributed having a good, fair, amicable guardian to as essential to their mental health and emotional stability. And culture social norm in families led most of the participants believing women are still obligated to obey their male guardian. There is a common belief among women. Even the law now allow them to get a job, to study, to live independently. They still obligated to the old rules because of their belief and because the pressure of the society. A further mental health challenge women faced is a permission from the male guardian to get married. Women, the male guardian, he's the one who presents women in the marriage contract, and he has to approve this marriage in order for women to get married. So this is a really a good issue that women talk about in the interviews. Some of them, they stay without marriage, or they even refuse to get married because their guardian don't allow them to marry the person they want. Women who choose to go against the norm faced a great deal of pressure, shame, stigma, resentment from the society. and from their family too. Saudi beliefs and laws do not explicitly define marital rape as a crime. Traditionally, women believe that satisfying their husband is their duty, and they don't recognize marital rape as an issue among people themselves, and even in the law or the court. There's no such a marital rape in Saudi Arabia, which adds so much mental health issue and marriage problem in Saudi Arabia. The study also showed several mental health issues such as depression, stress, suicide thoughts. It also showed common themes closely linked to a mental health, such as self-esteem, self-confidence, socially withdrawn, and isolation, and physical well-being. And women attribute these issues to the status in guardianship system. Social expectation emerged as a significant common theme that led women to endure the situation. Women believe that this is what it is, and that's what is supposed to be, and to be in a good woman and a good Muslim, they should follow this old rules and not even complain about them. And most women shared incident in their lifetime and disclosed continuous intervenence with personal liberty, decision-making, and mobility restriction. These factors played an essential role in their mental health. And that's the brief about this paper, and thank you so much for listening.